All right. So welcome everyone to what really is normally a reserved for our momentum members, which I'll explain in a moment. But I'm very happy to have opened this up, and we're going to get into the conversation just very shortly. For those of you who don't know me, I think everyone does. You see my name. I'm Marshall Stern. I will be your host tonight, but I will not be your teacher. We have the amazing Andrea, which I'll introduce in a second. Couple things I just want to mention, and people are going to come in shortly as we go on. That's fine. Just a little bit of, I guess, housekeeping. This is recorded, and as we speak, so this is recorded for quality assurance and training purposes. No, it's not. It's actually recorded for our Momentum members. So our Momentum is our private coaching group, our private monthly group program. So it's a part of the training, and it's going to be accessible to them. However, you guys are here if you want the replay of this as well. By all means, I will share it with you because I think you're going to find this of interest. The teaching portion is going to be probably, I don't know, Andrea, 15, 20 minutes. So it's not like I have a 90 minutes blocked. It's not, we're not going to be, trust me, Andrea can talk for 90 minutes and you're going to learn a lot, but we want to keep this really opened up and have a Q&A, and then there's going to be teaching throughout. So it's going to be very informal once she's through the teaching, but you're going to want to have a computer or a pad of paper and pen or pencil and take some notes because Andrea has, she's a Momentum member, and there's probably going to be some other Momentum members in here. I'll explain that in a second. She has taught us in Momentum and in other groups that I've had just casually about online marketing and simplifying it. And she's amazing at that. So we'll get to her in just a second. I know she's chopping at the bit to give everything, give it all away. So we are going to have a bit of a Q&A, or a big Q&A. So if you have questions, if something comes up as Andrea is speaking, feel free to ask when we get to the Q&A portion, or if something you're not understanding something. And if you are able to have your video on, I would encourage you to. You don't have to. And a few of you don't. You don't have to. I would encourage you to, if you're able to. We don't care what's in the background. We don't care if you have cats or kids or whatever, or if there's a mess. And the reason I say that is we tend to learn more when the camera's on. We're more focused and more intentional. That's what Momentum's all about, and that's what this training is going to be really all about. So if you are able, there's no pressure. Don't leave. That's fine. There's no judgment, but you will get more out of it, I think, if you are able to. Or if you have a question, you can ask without the video, but you're here to learn, and that's fine. So this time slot is normally reserved for our Momentum after hours group. So Momentum is basically a couple members here today. We meet 3 times a month at 11 o'clock and at 7:30 or 7:30, 2 different groups on Wednesdays, 3 Wednesdays a month. And it's a group program. It's a exclusive private membership program that helps business owners like yourselves basically get from where you are to where you want to be. But it's really by helping you become more focused, more intentional, and more accountable so you can get better results. So with the assistance of our Momentum members, the nighttime members, they've given up this time slot so Andrea can do her thing because it's going to give you guys incredible value. Before we go to Andrea, I know you guys want to get to that. I want to, and if you guys have questions about Momentum, you can ask our Momentum members. I can stay on afterwards and answer your questions, or you can just reach out to me on Facebook. I'm easy to find, or send me an email to marshall@marshallstern.net. I'm curious, in the chat box, I'm going to open up the chat box. Please put down where you're from, but what your business is, and feel free to share a link. If you want a link so everyone can support you, like your website or both, an Instagram account, Facebook page, whatever it is, feel free to put it into the chat box. We're not here all spamming people, so don't worry about it. I know most of you, but feel free to share your information if you want to connect with people outside of this, or you just want people to take a look at what you're up to. Because I know I know some of you quite well, and you guys are up to some incredible stuff. Products, services, everything. Okay. So put that in the chat box, please. Show of hands. How many of you get overwhelmed, frustrated with online marketing? Just show of hands. How many? You're not sure what to do, where to go, what to post. Andrea, keep your hand down. What to post. And for the people with their videos off, if you're actually there, just you can put your virtual hand if you know how to do that. Like the virtual thing. Yeah, it's overwhelming. There's so many things we can do. And every expert's telling you to do this and do that, and where to post, what to post, how to post, what's this algorithm thing. Why is Facebook advertising not working? Should I be on TikTok? Should I be on this? Should I be on that? Andrea, I am going to let someone else in. I am going to pass this over to you. I'm going to introduce you. Andrea is going to simplify it. She is an amazing person. I'll let her introduce herself further. She is the owner of Integra Consulting. And without further ado, it is all yours, Andrea.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. I'm Andrea. I'm Mexican. Marshall always laughs because I always present myself as I'm Mexican and I'm 28, but it has a meaning. I love Mexico. Now I live in Vancouver. I specialize in small business and entrepreneurs. So these people that are passionate about cooking and want to open a bakery or just want to start selling their cupcakes or their cakes, or they're really good at something. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I have 3 businesses. 2 of them are in Mexico and now Integra Consulting. I'm reaching out to the Canadian audience as well. And I've been working in marketing for a long time. I know I'm 28, so that often throws people off when I say my age. And then I tell them that I've been in the marketing field for more than 8 years. So I started really young. And yeah, I'm here to basically talk for 15, 20 minutes about basically digital marketing and everything online that we're very confused by everything we read from Google to Instagram to, like TikTok and whatever we see everywhere. And then this is a space for you guys. So it's really important for me to be able to answer all of your questions. It can be questions about your own business, which is where I think I can add more value. So if you have questions about your own business, what to post here, I have this issue, I've been having or dealing with this and this, I'm more than happy to help. So I'll try to be brief, although I can talk for hours and hours. I'm really passionate about this. But please stop me if I'm saying something that you don't understand, although I'll try to simplify everything. If there is some terms that you don't understand, feel free to raise your hand and say, give me another example. And again, we'll have the Q&A at the end, and you can take leverage of every single minute that we have here. And also it's knowledge for all of us here. So enough about myself. So I wanted to start these by saying, you're not alone. You're not alone in this confusion about online marketing and marketing everywhere. Why? Because it's changing every day. Every single day we see how Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, Pinterest, LinkedIn, SEO, now AI, everything's changing every single day. And we try to keep track of everything that's going on outside. Now, mind you, all of you are business owners, so you have your attention and your focus on growing your business. And then you also have to keep up with digital marketing trends and whatnot. So first of all, again, you're not alone. We're all in this together, and that's why we have these spaces so that we can talk about these things. Then, please don't kill me. I have my master's in marketing and I've studied this. But marketing should be a sentence. Marketing, I know it requires 4 years of education. I know it requires a lot of attention and a lot of studies to actually understand it. But marketing is as simple as, what am I offering and what does my consumer want? Basically, I'm trying to simplify. I know it has more onto it, but nowadays, the easiest and most simple way to connect what we are as a business to what the consumer wants is through online platforms, right? And I'll do a step back because a lot of my clients always ask me, hey, Andrea, I'm really sure of what I am. So I'm a marketing consultant, or I'm a visual artist, or I'm an accountant, or I'm a vet, or I have a financial service, like consulting firm or whatever, or I'm a lawyer. And I get that, but starting to think about strategy is to think deeper about that part. So thing number one, before I start talking about platforms algorithms, is everything comes back to strategy. Defining who you are as a business is as important as understanding how Facebook works and how the algorithm works on Instagram. So I know a lot of you here already know that, but again, being a lawyer means nothing to the consumer. And that doesn't mean that the consumer doesn't want a lawyer. That just means that the consumer nowadays needs more. If you're a lawyer, how are you going to help me? If you're a lawyer and I'm an immigrant and I want to apply for my PR, how are you going to help me? Are you able to help me or not? So nowadays, calling yourself a lawyer is not enough. We have here Cesar from Fellow Yachts. I know he doesn't have his camera. I know him personally. But I can tell you that he has a yacht rental company, right, in Mexico. And it's not enough to just say, I have a yacht rental company. If I tell you I have a yacht rental company, that means nothing. I need to try and explain myself in the best way possible on how, if you go to Cancun, you can also rent a yacht. And what does that mean? If you want to rent a yacht, is it simple? Is it cheap? Is it expensive? Can I do it through you? Do you connect me with the owner of the yacht? Can I, like drive or sail my own yacht? So the consumer nowadays is really lazy and they want to know more about you. They want to know how you can help them. So everything goes back to square one strategy. Square one strategy, again, is what is my business about, but also what does my consumer want from my business? So again, it's not enough just to call yourself a lawyer. It's important to explain yourself and explain what you do. I always have this example, and if you're in Momentum, you've seen my videos before with Marshall. But I always say it's like the kid that has lemonade outside of their garage. So it's the summer and mom is telling the kid, you know what, you want that Xbox, you need to go and sell lemonade, right? So this kid is really excited and he goes outside of the garage and he has his lemonade stand. And that's lovely. And then there's people walking by and they see something outside the garage, but they have no idea what that is. Right. And then they go to the next block and they see another kid outside with a table and they have no idea what that is. And they're like, oh, cute kids, right? They must be playing, whatever. So the kid can say, I have a lemonade stand. That doesn't mean that the walker actually knows that they have a lemonade stand, right? So that's very, very basic. And that's when we as business owners need to start to think about the question number one I have for you, for your own self, is I'm conscious that I have a lemonade stand. Everyone else around me in my online presence, do they know that I have a lemonade stand? It's happened to me that some of my clients come and show me their Instagrams and they say, Andrea, fix my Instagram. And I start by saying that people go to your Instagram and they have no idea what you do. So that's number one thing you should do, is to be able to share your Instagram with anyone in this group, and without saying anything, they should be able to know what you do, what your business is about. And then not only that, what to do with that information. So let's say we have here someone that's an accountant, right? And they are specialized in finance consulting. And then we go through like their Instagram and we see a lot of finance posts and economics and here and there and inflation and tax and whatever, right? And then what do I do with that information? Does that person have like a website? Is he telling me just to follow him because he's really good with finance, or he actually provides a service? Do I know as a consumer when I go through their website, Instagram, whatever platform online, do I know as a consumer what I can do with that information, or is it only fun to watch? So again, go back to the lemonade stand. Let's say the lemonade stand kid is my client, right? I'm helping him and I'm like, you know what, kid, we're gonna sell lemonade as never before. Step one, set up a, like a sign that says lemonade. That's number one. So then your walkers will know that you're selling lemonade. That's step one. So the walkers will be like, oh, we were here yesterday. We didn't know what that is. Now we know that he sells lemonade. Perfect. Now the second step, step two, would be tell them what to do with that lemonade. Do you want people to buy the lemonade? Do you want people to make the lemonade with you? Do you want people to taste your lemonade and then come back? Do you want people to share your lemonade? Do you want people to give your lemonade to your neighbor? Like, what do you want people to do? And again, it's really simple. If you put it that way, you would be like, who would go to a lemonade stand and expect anything else but to buy that lemonade? But it happens every time I do an audit on an Instagram account, website, Facebook fan page, LinkedIn page. I always see Andrea Smeke, lawyer. Awesome. 3 posts or 9 posts about laws. Great. We're step one, check. What can you do for me? How can do you have your contact information there? Can I book a session with you? Are you expecting me to do what with fine, I'm a follower now on your Instagram account. So step two, now that everybody knows that you have a lemonade stand, tell your consumer what to do with that information. On the first 30% of the screen scroll, and what I mean from that is if you have your phone and you need to scroll, in that first 30% on the screen, you should have what your business is about and also what you want people to do with that information. So let's say, again, you're an accountant, you're an artist, you're a lawyer. You should have in your bio, in your Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook fan page, whatever you want, top on your website. Is it a book a session with me, buy my paintings here, hire me, book your diagnosis session with me, watch my portfolio because I'm a designer. What do you want me to do with your profile now that I've come to your profile, right? And then we can talk about the information you need to provide there. But again, go back to the lemonade stand. So you've told people and the walkers that you sell the lemonade. Then let's say another kid finds out that the kid that I'm coaching sells lemonade and he's like, cool, I have lemonade too. So I'm going outside of my garage on the same street and I'm selling my lemonade and my sign is prettier. So now the walkers need to decide between one lemonade stand and the other one. And of course, because they're kids, they're gonna buy both. But let's keep it real. So they need to choose between one or the other, right? So what does the kid need to tell the people for the people to actually buy their lemonade? And that's exactly what you need to think in this simple, very simple way on what to add on your website, on your LinkedIn, on your fan page, on whatever. What do I need to tell people that have shown interest to go into my profile and click on my website or book a session with me? Why are they buying my lemonade? And normally here is where other coaches say, you need to think about the consumer only. And that is, I wouldn't say a lie. I will say it's half the truth. Because here is where you as a business need to show why you're different. Why will people actually buy your lemonade? I mean, lawyers, we have, I don't know, tons of them, hundreds of them to help me with my PR. I have 1,000 of them that want to charge me $4,000 to apply for me on my PR, which thank you, fine. I will tell you why I chose mine, and it's because she speaks Spanish. And the incredible thing about this woman is she has it on her profile. So I went to her WhatsApp business and she has immigrant lawyer, Canada, Spanish, and English. Perfect. Perfect for me. I speak fluent English, but I prefer to express myself in Spanish. So that was a deal for me. So she was understanding what her consumer wanted, but she was not only giving the consumer here, whatever you want me to call myself, this is what I have. She was also conscious on what makes her different from other lawyers. And in a very simple way, she let me know, without actually telling me, why I should hire her as a Mexican immigrant, right? So this is more complex because it's easier said than done to think about what makes us different. And I can, of course, take this session for 34 hours and talk about each one of your businesses. And we can do that in the Q&A as well. But again, this is more about what makes you different and also connecting that to what the consumer wants. Now, here's where everyone and every client and every student always tells me, okay, perfect, I know what I am. Then how do I know what the consumer wants? Well, there's a lot of free tools out there that I'll try to write in the chat at the end that can actually help you. First, there's one called Answer the Public. It's a website, it's free. And what Answer the Public does is they actually tell you, based on a subject, category, or whatever, what people are Googling. So if you say, I don't know what my consumer is looking for, first, if you don't want to go outside of your house or do a focus group or interview people, you can go to Answer the Public, type in your category, business, whatever, and it will show you a list of questions that people actually Google around that topic. It's Answer the Public. I will write it here. Answer the Public.
Thank you.
I wrote it in the chat. Yeah, you're fine. There's one. The other one that you can use for free, it's called, by our friends Google Trends. Google Trends is also free. And you can see there what keywords people are using. And I can talk again, 34 hours on SEO. I won't touch that. But again, Google Trends, you can see there a lot of keywords, what people are asking, what's trending regarding your category or your business. And the most simple way to actually know what a consumer wants is asking the consumer. And the best way to do it is to build 3 questions on your Instagram, on WhatsApp, on a Google Forms, on a piece of paper, and asking people. Asking people, hey, Andrea, you're an immigrant. You need a lawyer. What are you looking for in a lawyer? Just 3 simple questions, right? So again, you can use trends and research online. Those 2 pages are really, really helpful. But the best way is to ask your consumer. Hey, I'm a wedding planner. You're about to get married. What do you need? What would make you choose me instead of other wedding planners? Is it price? Is it because I speak Spanish and you're a Mexican bride? Whatever, right? So again, back to strategy. So the lemonade stand, this kid says, my lemons are the best lemons ever in life. They're the yellowest, more delicious lemons in Vancouver. So with that and a special recipe from my mom and grandma, this is the best lemonade you'll ever have, right? And then they will ask you about the price. So there's different tactics around the price. Again, I can talk 50 hours on price. Let's say there's businesses that prefer to share their price right up front. So if you have like an e-commerce or whatever, it's really useful to have the product, what makes you different, and the price right there so that people, again, they know what to do. So if you sell sunglasses or whatever, clothes, art pieces or whatever, what you want is for people to see your website, or your Instagram story or your Instagram feed or whatever. They see what you do, what makes you different, the product is there and the price is there, click to buy, right? That's what you want. There are other that require a little bit more consulting, right? So it's not the same, and I feel you, I have a marketing agency. It's not the same to consult on a business that has, I don't know, like 15 stores than someone that wants to start a business out of cooking and their passion of cooking, right? It's really different. So I cannot display my prices in my website because I need to take into consideration how many hours I'm going to take, how many, like people on my team are going to be involved, whatever. So price, again, different story, different, we can do 100 sessions about price, but it's important to let people know what your price standard is. So if you don't want to share like your full price there, I charge, I don't know, like $1,000 for a month or whatever, you can also add there that you have different packages, or you can go directly to a call to action. Book your first 30-minute session with me for free. That's also price. Free is price. And the first session free is also price. So price will lead immediately to an action. So if you see price on Mantra Warehouse and they have 50% off on ski gear, whatever, and you see the price and you see the buy, it will immediately translate into an action. So if you don't want to display your price, that's fine, but have the call to action there so that people know what to do. Not only like inform people that you're awesome, but also tell them what to do with that. Because the one common mistake that I see with a lot of my clients is they have a good feed, they have a good website, they've taken all of these into consideration. They say, Andrea, my website is awesome. They know that I sell lemonade. They know why my lemonade is great. I have this copy that's perfect, beautiful images, perfect. And then the people, like search for things and they stay in their website and they have zero clients. And why that happens? Because they make the next mistake, which is number 3, which is the kid telling them actually to buy the lemonade and accepting the money. So in this case, the lemonade is really easy. It's an e-commerce, it's a business to consumer. If you have an e-commerce platform, it's really easy to explain. They need to see, again, the product, the price, the buy. But if you do consulting, you also need to include there a call to action. You also need to tell people what to do with your information online. So it's beautiful and wonderful to have these awesome website, but it needs to have a click so that you can communicate with people, or so that people can book a meeting with you or book space in your calendar or add their number or email so that you can then use a CRM or whatever and contact them. Just tell the people what to do. Again, because the walkers here, they were very active, they were walking. In the online world, everybody's lazy. So if you cannot find the information quickly, fast, and don't know what to do, they're gonna bounce out. And again, I have a lot of clients that when I do an audit on their website, they have a lot of traffic to their website and a lot of bounce traffic from the website, which means they go into their website and they go out. Why? Because they don't know what to do with the information. So tip number 3, on every online platform is always include a call to action. What do you want people to do with all the information they have? How can they contact you? How can they book a session with you? How can they buy something from you? And again, explain them what they can do with that information, what do you do, etc. So I know I said 15 minutes and I've been talking more. I'll take 5 more minutes and then we can do Q&A. The other question that people ask me, and enough about the lemonade stand, I'll do another example because I love those. Now that in Canada it's really cold, I also use this example a lot. So the other example is, let's say I'm Andrea, I'm from Mexico. I don't know what to wear here because I'm freezing. Thank you. So let's say I'm really, really, really cold and I go to Pacific Center, which is close by, and I enter the first store that I see in Pacific Center, right? The only thing I know is that I'm cold. I don't know what to buy. I just know that I'm coldest I've ever been. So I walk into this store and this store is messy. I cannot find anything. Everything's in like English, French, and I see 100 like sizes. I see many, many options. And then I ask for help. Nobody's helping me. And I go out of that store in 15 seconds. I'm out. And then me, Andrea, I'm still cold. So I still have the need, but then I'm going to go and look for a different store. So I walk whatever, I see the directory, I ask people for advice, and then I find this beautiful, beautiful store, and it says, if you're cold, shop here. And I'm like, yes, this is my place. So I go inside and I'm still feeling cold, but I see a beautiful display that says, if you're cold, I can measure your coldness from 1 to 10. If you have 1, you can buy a scarf. If you have 2, you can buy the sweater. If you are super, super, super cold, buy these, I don't know, like puff or whatever, right? Or thermal, I don't know, whatever you buy when you're really cold. And then I remember the name of on that store, and I buy again every time I'm cold. And when my friends from Mexico come here, I'm like, dude, if you're cold, go to that store, because that's the #1 store on, you know, like snow gear or whatever. So that happens with your online presence as well. Again, you can have in your mind the best information out there, the best website, the best Instagram page. And if you don't have the information that the client is looking for, if your Instagram has posts from 2019 about your cat, and then a post on 2023 about, I don't know, like your finance advice, and then a post in 2024, 3 months later, about how you're reopening your offices, and people are gonna still be cold. They will be looking for cold clothes in your Instagram, and they will bounce and they will forget about you. So being constant and being conscious about what you post, again, on your website, on your LinkedIn, on any online platform, is as having a store. If you sell, I don't know, design or yacht rentals, or you're an accountant or a lawyer, again, whatever you want in your business, people, because of how the algorithm works, are gonna find your profile. I can 100% assure you that people are gonna find your profile. But if you're not consistent, if your profile doesn't show what you are selling, if you have posts from 2022, people are gonna still be needing a lawyer. People are gonna still be needing a designer. People are gonna still be looking for an art piece, but they're gonna buy it elsewhere. If they don't find what they want within your online presence, it's not that they say, you know what, Kim, thank you so much. I saw your profile, but you know what, you don't have the information, so I don't need this anymore. I don't feel cold anymore. They're gonna still be cold, but they're gonna look elsewhere. So it's really, really important that you keep your online presence really consistent and really professional and really up to the point. Why? Because again, people are gonna still be cold. They're just gonna go to the store next door, or to the next store. So with that being said, and this is where I finish talking and I'll let you guys ask me questions, but the way the algorithm works is that every single platform, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, Pinterest, you name it, they want people and their audience to stay in the platform as long as they can. As longest as they can. Why? Because TikTok is the king on keeping people there. People stay on TikTok in average 45 minutes every time they open the app. Whereas on Facebook or Instagram it's 5 minutes, and Facebook it's 15 seconds. Not kidding. So that doesn't mean that you don't need a Facebook page. That doesn't mean that you don't need an Instagram page. That doesn't mean that. But what that means is Mark Zuckerberg and his team is working really, really hard to compete with TikTok. Why? Because they need people to stay in their platforms. Why? Because people stay in their platforms, they can monetize more and they receive more money, which is what everyone wants, even Mark Zuckerberg. So what they're doing with the algorithm is they are trying to match your interests with what you can find online. What does that mean? If me, Andrea, I am looking, or I interact with a lot of dog content because I have a Bernese and I'm obsessed with Bernese mountain dogs, I can assure you that if I like 2 or 3 videos about Bernese mountain dogs, within the next 30 minutes, if I scroll, at least once or twice, I'm gonna see a Bernese mountain dog video. We've all seen it. I always tell my clients, search whatever you want in the Reels section on Instagram. Even if you don't search for it regularly, just say yacht rentals. or yachts in Cancun. I can promise you, if you interact with 2 or 3 on that, for half an hour scroll, do me a favor and use your phone for half an hour on Instagram. You will see multiple yachts rental, like videos or whatever. So that's the algorithming. So you need to use your content to be able to do that. And that also helps entrepreneurs, small business, and small creators. Why? Because I can, again, make sure, like I can promise you that people are gonna come to your profile. Because if they're looking for immigrant laws on Reels, or they're interacting with posts around that, and you're an immigrant lawyer, they're gonna find your profile. Like I can promise you. But again, if your profile says nothing, if it has no information, if the content is not good, if they don't know what to do with your profile, they're gonna ignore you and then move next. So I always encourage you to use social media in the best way possible. I know a lot of you will say, okay, Andrea, that's perfect. Then what do I post? Again, I can talk about that for ages. And I will let you ask questions so that I can answer regarding your own business. But it's really simple. The social media accounts you should always have, just in terms of pay-per-click, advertising, whatever that's easier. You should always have a website. You should always have Facebook. You should always have Instagram. And if you're a business to business, I would encourage you to also have LinkedIn. Again, we as human beings, we're multi-platforms. So I use LinkedIn, and I also use Instagram, and I also use Facebook, and I hire business to businesses. So don't be afraid to have an Instagram or Facebook if you're a business to business, because your consumer is also using Instagram and Facebook. I can promise you, and they will come across your profile on those platforms too. So I talked more than 15 minutes. I'm sorry, but I'll open myself to questions.
No, that's great. Yeah, no questions. I have questions, but I want to hear everyone's questions.
I've got a question, Andrea. On LinkedIn, when it says your post received or had X number of impressions, what does impressions mean? Does that mean somebody has looked at it, or is I'm not quite sure what that means.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. Impressions on every online platform means the same, and the term comes from a newspaper. So think of it as a traditional media. If you have X number of magazine impressions, it means how many times that magazine printed. So that's the same with your online content. That means that your ad or your post was printed 1,000,000 times. So that means that either 1,000,000 people saw your like your post, or one person took 2 or 3 magazines. So always compare your impressions with other metrics, as your views, as your click per rate, like how many people actually clicked on your post or interacted with your post. But impressions, again, it takes the name out of how many impressions of magazines you have.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I had a comment.
Yeah, for sure.
I took TikTok off because I heard that TikTok was owned by China, and they collect a lot of data, and I'm just reading. So it says the app can invade your privacy because it's able to see everything and everyone users interact with. It also collects information regarding your name, age, email, phone number, networks you use, contacts that the person has, and more. So I don't think I'll be doing anything on TikTok from a business point of view, even from a private point of view. That's just, I mean, it's invasive to begin with, not alone see that big laundry list, which is, I think, more than any other platform collects. Anyway, just a comment.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
no, that's
Yeah.
go,
So
Marcia.
I'm curious on TikTok. I'm curious. So that was I have 3 questions. But that was one of my questions was, because you mentioned, so Facebook, Instagram and a website. Everyone should have. And then if you're B2B, LinkedIn as well. When does TikTok come into play for, in your opinion, a B2B business?
Okay, it's I hope nobody works for TikTok. I love TikTok. I use it for my entertainment. I laugh a lot on TikTok. This is what I always tell my clients. Do content that you can replicate on any social media. So if you do a video on Instagram and you have a TikTok account, just post it on your TikTok as well. It's not going to affect your algorithm at all. It should be a little bit more dynamic on TikTok, but if you're making it more dynamic for TikTok, do it as well for your reels, you know? The conversion rate on TikTok, even on advertising, is really, really slow. Why? Because the algorithm there is 100% about interests. So even if you follow people and you scroll on TikTok, you might spend an hour and a half or 2 hours and still don't see a video posted by the people you follow. So imagine that translated to millions and millions and millions of users and businesses. So that's why even advertising on TikTok for a small business, my recommendation is don't do it. Post videos on TikTok if you want, but the journey for the consumer to actually see your video and hire you or buy something from you, it's really long and it's shorter on Instagram, it's shorter on website, and it's shorter on Facebook. So if you have $500 to invest, I would encourage you to do Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads first. If you have something to spare and you want to try TikTok, I'm not saying don't do it, but your money will have more value. Again, more impressions, more views, more engagement, more click-to-rate through the other platforms. Now, TikTok really, really works on third-party content. So if you're a brand and you get to grow on TikTok, that's really fine, but you really need someone that will be posting at least once a day on videos that are longer than a minute long with creative ideas. And I think a small business that's really hard to have, you will need to literally hire someone dedicated to create content on TikTok to actually have like a lot of following. If you're interested on pursuing like an influencer, you know, like whatever profile for you, then I will encourage you. A small business, I don't know. What really works if you hire someone that already has a big following and a big platform on TikTok to create content for you. So let's say you have a yacht rental company, you have a sunglass company, you're a lawyer, whatever, and you use someone that already has a TikTok presence. That helps more than doing your own content, hiring someone, or spending money on ads. Because the only way I've seen, again, other people might say otherwise, and I'm not the only one that knows about this, so trust other people too. But the only, in my experience, thing that I've seen with TikTok is business to consumer, so e-commerce, and really niche viral things. So if one skincare mascara or whatever goes viral, then they sell out. Yeah, but that's 1 in a million mascaras that are out there. So if you're a business, you want to grow, you need to think where and when and how to invest your money, which is limited as a small business. I would encourage you to use other platforms. Again, if you want to post your video on TikTok, go ahead and do it. Is it going to translate in sales right away? No. So it depends on how much money you want to spend. Short answer.
Questions? Come on, guys, you have questions. Even pertaining to your own situation.
Yep.
I don't really, okay. So first I'll start with a comment. I really liked your lemonade stand analogy, like the story of, right? Like, so I have and my neighbor has a lemonade stand, and how do I want people to do? It was a great analogy. It was really made the thinking about how to roll out the businesses a lot easier. So I have 2 businesses. One is in the financial services industry, and the other is a training and development business in the disability field. So I don't really want to have a social media presence in one for this business and one for that business. Can I somehow meld those two together so that I only have to, because I have an Instagram, I have a Facebook, I have a LinkedIn. I haven't done anything in a while. So your part about 2019 and 2022. That's me. So
I
that,
feel you, little my cleanser.
right? But so how could I go about kind of just having one online presence with those two different businesses? I guess is my question boiled down.
Yeah, so I would really encourage you to do both. I know time is limited, but I will tell you this, like again with my I'm really cold example, right? Let's say I'm really cold and I want your financial services and I don't find the information I want, or I'm confused on the information you're providing to me as a consumer. Consumers, again, they're lazy and they have an attention span of 15 seconds. If they cannot find in the 30% scroll whatever they're looking for, they're gonna bounce. And what I don't want to is to give you an advice and then people looking for, let's say, your training program or your financial services and seeing content about other things and then bouncing out. So I would encourage you to keep them separate. I can again talk about how to build content and how to use ChatGPT and other tools to, like have more content to post, but I would really, really encourage you to have them separate. The only way I think you can do both, but again, it would require for you to, as Kathy Peters, to build an online presence, is if you build an online presence for yourself, position yourself as a business owner, and then talk about your both business in your profile. But again, that will require the same time, attention, consistency as building two separate ones, because we would need to position you as Kathy Peters, then people would need to understand that you have two businesses. That is the only way that I would actually think would work, but I would encourage you to have both.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah, of course.
I love the cold analogy. I'm cold.
It's a true story though.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hashtags.
Okay, so hashtags, they're really important, but not the way they used to be. So the way they used to be is Instagram would position a hashtag. So if you use like FYP, which is for you page, and those things, people think that their posts are gonna be on top. Hashtags help us highlight things. So again, the algorithm works on finding interests, what interests you with content on that interest. So you want to use words within your video or post, static post or image or whatever, and the copy outside, the text, that will show what your video or your content is about. So hashtags help when you have, for example, a really small quote that will probably not include those keywords. So let's go again with my Bernese Mountain Dog examples, right? I won't say in every single post, this is the best Bernese Mountain Dog video ever, because my keywords is Bernese Mountain Dog. Sometimes I only want to add a paw or say this is fantastic or whatever, right? I'm not in creative mode now. But a hashtag will help me tell the algorithm what that video is about. So let's say your copy is something more creative, your copy does not include those keywords, you can always use your hashtags to let the algorithm know what your video is about. So let's say again, financial services, right? You don't need to say financial services on every single line on your copy and text. Maybe you're talking about budgets or whatever, but then your hashtag can help you because you can say hashtag financial services. So you don't need to include that in your text, but it will show as a hashtag. And of course, a hashtag helps because if you click on the hashtag, you will see everything that was posted under that same hashtag. So it's easy to navigate. So I would encourage you to use them. Do you need to have 100 of them? No. Just use the ones that actually relate to your business, relate to your, like what you're trying to say and communicate.
So a question on that, and then I'll let other people ask
Yeah.
questions. Do you get penalized by the algorithms if you have like 30 hashtags versus, or is there a certain number of sweet spot, do you think, for number of hashtags?
I don't think so. It has never happened to me that someone was penalized. It's a good question. But it's more on, again, what you want to give your consumer. How is your consumer looking for that information? For example, again, yacht rental, just because he's my friend and he's my client and my partner. So let's say yacht rental services or whatever. I always use yacht lifestyle, yacht sunset boats, boat rental, yacht rental. Why? Because I think people that are looking to rent a yacht, that's the words that they will use to actually search and look for my service or whatever. Sometimes I use 5, sometimes I use 10, sometimes I use 15. It's not the number, it's just to keep it to your, again, what the people are looking for. Financial services. I will use financial services, financial planning, budget, personal finance, struggles with finance, financial problems, financial solutions, like those words that you would use as a normal person to Google, how do I, like keep track on my budget, basically.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Who else has more questions?
Oh, there's questions. People are just shy.
Or a subject that you want me to explain further, I can also do that if you don't have like particular questions.
Como?
I have a question.
Raj, yeah.
Yep.
How about advertising in the local newspapers as opposed to, I won't say as opposed to, but how efficient it is in advertising? For example, I'm planning to do food prep business. So advertising in the local newspaper, targeting the local audience, how efficient it is.
That's a really good question. And I love that it's not about online marketing. I will tell you, it depends a lot on your final consumer. So I will say, me being from a different country, in Mexico, nobody will read a newspaper. It's really, really rare that someone actually takes a magazine or a local magazine or paper and actually read it. It's everything's online. But here I've come to notice that a lot of people actually read their like local magazines or newspapers. So I would first, the newspaper people that own the business will tell you that everybody reads their newspaper. So kind of that's truth and not true. I would actually ask your clients, if you have a list of clients, I would ask them, how many of you actually read this newspaper? If you have potential clients, I will ask them. If you know people that would be, I don't know, you have these food prep business and you're targeting, let's say, people my age, like 28 to 30 that are busy all week and we want to buy one service and have food in my house, or a business that does like events or whatever, ask the people. Before investing on anything, ask the people. And then I would complement, if you decide to go for it, I would complement that with an online advertising. Why? Because again, online helps you get to people faster and you can measure it better. So it's really hard when you do traditional marketing, which I encourage you to do. Print flyers if you feel like doing so, go to their businesses and present yourself with your business card, like do that. But it's also really, really hard to keep track and optimize once your ad is out. So if you print that ad on your newspaper and whatever, it's really hard unless someone calls you and actually books something with you. It's really hard to know how many people actually opened the newspaper, how many newspapers were actually delivered. Whereas on the online advertising, you can see everything. You can see how many impressions you have, how many times someone saw your ad, how many people clicked your ad. So it's easier to keep track. Again, I would encourage you to ask your target consumer if they actually read and use that newspaper, but also complement it online.
Okay, thank you, Andrea.
Yep.
That's great. Great feedback.
Yep. Yep. Joanna, Cesar.
Oh, Cesar.
Thank you, Andy. Regarding in organic campaign with I don't know, posts with images, reels, TikToks, Is there any specific hour do you advise us to post this kind of material in order to reach more people?
That's a really good question. Thank you. Yeah, again, a lot of people always ask me that. I would say like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe a little bit more, 5 years ago, the algorithm was different. So the way you would interact with posts and whatever was depending on the hour or the time that you were seeing your feed. Why? Because the objectives of the platform was different. It was built to share instant content. That's why it's called Instagram. So they wanted for you to share instant moments, right? That's why they have stories. That's why they have like the simple way to just post something. Now that the objective has changed and the algorithm has changed, you will always see first the posts, stories, and reels and everything from the people or profiles that you interact the most with. So if you take a look at your feed and do that exercise, I won't say now because you'll lose focus, but just after this hour, just take your phone and scroll through Instagram or Facebook, and you will see posts that are not even from this week, for example, or you will see reels that are not even from this week. You will see reels that will probably, they were posted even last year. Why? Because again, it's more important the interest that you have on profiles, on things, on subjects than the actual time you post. So I won't say post at 4 a.m. where nobody's looking, because at least one person will be there when you post. So I would encourage you just to know your audience again a little bit more. If they're parents, probably they're not on Instagram at 4 p.m. when their kids are out of, I don't know, like hockey or whatever. They're probably not scrolling through Instagram, you never know. Young people they are, so depends on your audience, but honestly, it's not the best way to engage with your audience. It's not the time of or day as it was like 4 or 5 years ago. It's all about the interests, the hashtags, the content that's actually relevant.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Great question,
My
great
pleasure.
answer. I'm going to pick on people who have their video off. Because Joanna asked a question already. Oh, there we go. Nadia.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi.
I wanted to add on Cesar's question because I was recently told about an app called Trend Talk for the TikTok, where they actually give you information about like how people have been on there and like what times is like the most popular that people go on TikTok. But it's just a subscription of like I think $38 for the whole year. And then basically they give you everything you need to know, like songs that are trending that can attract people, times that they're online, and so on and so forth. So if that's something that you want to take a look at, I would definitely put in the chat.
Yeah, for sure. Do that. And again, there is no one simple recipe to follow, or everyone would be like a millionaire on TikTok, of course, but there are tricks that you can use so that your content gets to more people. And again, I can talk about that for ages. It's all about the content, the creativity, the sounds, the text, whatever, right? But yeah, I would encourage you to do so. But again, it's more complicated, or more you need to think further than just, okay, I made this post, it might not be interesting to anybody, but I posted at 6 p.m. It's not gonna have engagement, it's not gonna reach anybody. So if you want to post at 6 p.m. because you have a large audience at that time, that's fine, but take into consideration everything else. It's not only about posting at 6 p.m. that will get you to a success place. I also see one from Joanna on the chat. She says also recommendations for apps for positioning your pre-made content at schedule time and Google search optimization. Yes. I will talk about both, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on paid advertising because I can talk for hours on paid. So I'll start with Google. On SEO, which means search optimization in an organic manner, which means you're not paying to get attention to your website, specifically on search engines. It works in the exact same way as any other online platform. It's all about interests. So again, us as consumers, us as online users, if you need to Google something, example, for me, I wanted to go skiing. I have no idea where to start. So I Googled, where do I start skiing in Vancouver? Perfect for me, Andrea. Awesome. I'll share some videos. So that needs to align to what you have on your website. There's a lot of things I would encourage you to do on your website to have a better rank there. The first one is have at least 600 words per page on your website. Why? Because text is what will position your website on a search engine. If you only say, I'm a lawyer, here's my picture, contact me, what is Google supposed to do with that information? Like if people are looking for an immigrant, like, I don't know, immigration lawyer, whatever, then what are they gonna find on your website? Google is gonna be like, okay, there's 150 other websites on your area that includes more information about how to become a permanent resident in Canada, and yours is not talking about that. So thank you, but I won't show your website. So as at least 600 words. Then include your keywords on your paragraphs and your words. Why? Because again, you can use Answer the Public, you can use Google Trends, you can Google keywords for that specific thing. You can ask ChatGPT, give me a list of 50 keywords on this specific subject, but include your keywords. Why? Because again, if you're looking for skiing or financial services or design services or art pieces or food prep, you need to include the words food preparation on everything you do. Why? Because again, if people are looking for food preparation services, Google needs to match them together, right? Like what they're looking for in your website. There's other technical aspects on that. On the back end on your website, there is an option to do SEO. You can add there H1s, H2s, H3s, paragraphs, whatever. Your keywords, you can also do that there. If you have someone helping you build that website, ask them to do SEO optimization, which means adding your keywords, positioning your images and whatnot. And the other one that has always helped my clients 100% of the time is including a blog. Why? Because a lot of people are looking, what do I need to go skiing? And that probably will not be on your homepage because you're not an informative page that will show people what they need to do or to go skiing, but you sell ski lessons. So then if you have a blog entry on what do I need to start skiing, and then you answer that question, I can assure you that the #1 page that will show when someone Googles, how do I start skiing, is your blog entry. And that's the journey that they will take, first your blog and then your ski lessons probably. So again, artists, designers, financial services, food prep, I encourage you to build your blog entries. A simple way to do it is take the questions that you take from Answer the Public and ask ChatGPT to build a blog entry for you. If you don't have the time or energy to write a blog entry every 15 days or 10 days or a week, just ask ChatGPT, open ChatGPT. It's an AI system website. It's free. Take that question and say, help me write a blog entry for my website. This is what my business is about. Do it at least 600 words, and the title needs to be this question. Include as many keywords as you can. Then it will bring you a blog entry. Again, I can talk a lot more about that, but I will start there. That's the minimum you should do. In my opinion, it's 600 words. Include as many keywords as you can and a blog entry. And then on apps for posting your pre-made content, the easiest way to do it, especially I will say Facebook and Instagram, is their own system, which is Meta Business Suite. I will write it here. Meta Business Suite. You can program and schedule all of your posts there. It's free. Every fan page and every Instagram account that are connected between them have a Meta Business Suite access. You don't need to pay anything. I can help you figure that out if you want within your settings, but that's something that everybody has, and you can schedule your posts for every single day, and you don't need to pay anything. That's one. There's another one, but you need to pay, which is called Hootsuite. I don't know if that's the way you write it.
Hootsuite?
Yep. I think this is the way you write it. I'm not 100%
Yes,
sure.
yes.
But you need to pay for that. So if you want to schedule things, I would use Meta Business Suite. I use that for all of my clients. I've never paid a dime on any other platforms, and that works for me. And yeah, thank you, Steph. I'll share that in a second. And on LinkedIn, for example, you can also schedule your posts. So for example, if you feel inspired one day and you say Sundays are for content for the month, and you want to do like 360, 15 or 10 contents that day, and you feel inspired, you can also schedule your post on LinkedIn. So you can use that too. And it's easy. You just click, instead of post now, you just click on schedule post, and it will give you the options to post later. Okay, so I will, I'm trying to read everything. The name on that software, that's, which one? Kim, sorry, you said what's the name of that software, but I lost the question, so I don't know what software you're meaning.
The blog, it says AI software for blog entry.
Oh, okay, okay, AI, it's ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, yeah.
You can also use Copy AI. Those two are really good to write text. If you want to do images, there's one called Leonardo.ai, which builds, again, with a prompt. It gives you images. So for example, I was doing a pitch for a mattress company, I showed Marshall yesterday, and I wanted the mattress to be floating on the sky, which is really hard. Like, I'm not gonna take a picture of the sky, you know, like it's hard. And my designer was asleep, like it was 10 p.m., right? And I used Leonardo.ai. It's free for a while, and then you need to buy like coins or whatever, and it tells you how many coins you need to do another prompt or whatever. But I actually use the prompt, I need a mattress in a sky that looks magical and celestial and beautiful, to pitch to my client with a lady on top of the mattress. Thank you. And I had a beautiful image on literally the sky and a mattress there. And I showed that to my client this morning, like in the pitch, right? So that doesn't mean that I do everything like that with my clients. Please don't hate me. But it was just an emergency. It was really fast. He needed something, and I did it. So Leonardo.ai really helps too. And of course, if you want like design services, Tom is here. So first of all, contact Tom. And then second, after you contact Tom, if you feel inspired and want to do it yourself, you have also Canva. So Canva is free, and you can use it, and it has like really simple, you know, like templates or whatever. So you can use that too. I will share my website and my contact on the chat too, but I want to take more questions from you guys, or if you want me to deep dive on anything. Mirabella, I think you have your, yeah. Awesome.
So I was wondering if you recommend to be present on multiple.
Oh,
That was bad timing, so she'll be back.
yeah, really bad timing.
While
She'll be
we're
back.
waiting, yeah, she'll be back. While we're waiting for her, other questions?
Or if you want me to explain like a subject that you've always been curious about, you can also ask me to do that.
Oh, yeah, that too. Quick question.
Yep.
And I think we talked about this, but I just want to confirm or clarification. So in Facebook groups, how would you, because a lot of Facebook groups, you're not allowed to, you talk about call to action. Everything you should have a call to action, right? So a lot of Facebook groups, you're not allowed to have a call to action. You're not allowed to promote yourself. Well, what's your thought behind that? Is it just sharing content? How would you go about that?
So that's a really good question. I will tell you that people always want to know what you do, but also why, like, to know if you're good at doing it. So again, you can tell me you're a lawyer, you're a designer, you have a food prep, or you're an artist, and now tell me how good you are with it, right? So I call it build credentials for yourself. That's also a line of content that I encourage you to have and post about. So always share about your reviews. Just Rash, I will share that with you too. always share about your clients' reviews, share about your experiences, share about case studies, your business cases with your clients, experiences, share your, like just build credentials for yourself. That's one. Another one that I would encourage you to do on Facebook groups also, but also like online presence, whatever. Not everyone wants to buy something from you on every post. I don't recommend that. But you can also trace, literally, I like writing things on my notebook. You can do it online, on your mind, whatever. Just imagine what would take for you to hire someone on the service or business that you do. So again, I do marketing, like I have a marketing agency, right? What would take for me to hire someone like me? So let's say I cannot advertise myself on those like Facebook groups, or I don't want people to, I don't want to post something on my Instagram that's too silly, like contact me, I'm the best, Andrea, thank you so much. What would it take for them to trust me? And maybe this is a way, maybe a webinar, maybe a 30-minute walk. I saw a TikTok video on someone saying, I changed my meetings to a 30-minute walk with potential clients. Is it coffee? Is it sharing stories? Is it inviting people to share stories? So there's tricks. I would say if you're like a coach or whatever, I would literally write like a success story on like a funny story on a client. Like, this has happened to me. Share what has happened to you before. Engage with people. Contact them after. Build groups. Build community. Share your credentials. Share your success. Share your success doesn't mean only post about yourself, like literally share your success. So if you're sharing your success on this client, like, hey group, I'm really excited, I just closed this like business deal, let's all celebrate together. Share about your wins on this week. That's one. I'm really excited because I studied really, really hard for this course, or I have this painting, give me feedback. So there's ways to interact, and I will encourage you to do that on your own platform as well. Like, try for people to engage, show your success stories. Again, yacht rental companies, and Cesar is not here anymore because he feels really bad, he has a headache, but I can tell you there's a lot of scammers out there. So a lot of people will tell you they rent a yacht, and then you make your deposit and you forget, you're blocked, right? So what do we do as a yacht rental company? Well, we share a lot of our reviews. We interview our clients, we ask them to post on Google reviews, and we post a lot of those reviews, like a lot, so that people don't only see what we sell, but also they know about our credentials. So I would encourage you to do that too.
Yes, perfect.
And share,
Well, thank you.
build community.
And Mirabelle is back.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. My phone just died.
Problem.
Typical at the end of the day. So my question was, like, do you recommend to be on multiple platforms? I know as a business owner, if you don't have employees dedicated to your marketing department and you have to post on multiple platforms, I feel like your Instagram content doesn't really go on X, for example. So you have to create specific content for, not necessarily for each platform, but for most of them, to appeal to their target audience. So what do you recommend outside of Facebook and Instagram to try to reach more people?
It would depend a lot on your business. A lot. So if you're asking about a business in particular,
it's a product based.
Product based? Okay. Can you tell me if it's like, I don't know, like clothes or?
It's we make household items out of wood, so it's pretty
lovely.
A niche kind of business.
No, I love it. I would say, again, yes, have a website, yes, Facebook, Instagram. Another platform that can help you a lot is Pinterest. Pinterest has launched a new advertising like platform. It's kind of different than the meta advertising, which is Facebook, Instagram, but they also have a really good way to measure things. If you're a new business, you can always contact someone from Pinterest and they can tell you how to invest on like advertising there. Pinterest is made for people that want to get inspired. First, it was like 99% women. Now they're really like 40-60. So 60% of their audience is female. 40, let's call it 30 is male. There's a lot of people on Pinterest just looking for inspiration. So I would encourage you, it costs you nothing. And I would post the same images you're doing from your furniture specifically, like your product on Instagram, your website and whatever, to include them on Pinterest, because again, it's only gonna help you just reach more people.
Yeah.
And then if you find a lot of like clicks there, because you can also see the business thing on your business profile, you can see how many people have clicked on your post and whatnot, just how many people are actually clicking. And if that is linked to your website, it's a really good journey for people too, because they get inspired. Again, Pinterest works same as everyone, just interest. If they're looking for home decor inspiration and they see your table or whatever furniture product you're showing, they can click on your image and direct them to your website. So I would encourage you to do that.
Yeah, I'm there, and I have to say they're really helpful. Like they're the people in who work there. They reach out to you and they help you with your advertising. So they're really, really invested.
Yeah, exactly. I would do that. And again, like TikTok can also help, but you would need to have someone just creating content out
Yeah.
of how they build the product and whatever. So if you want to do that, that's also good. I would
Mhm.
stick to those. I would stick to those, honestly. You can do mailing. So if you know MailChimp, I will
Yeah.
write it down in the chat as well. They have a free platform. You can up until I think 1,000 emails. I would encourage you to, if you
It's
have a
700.
database.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just use it. And but yeah, I would stick to those. It's not, there's a lot of them. If you want to do native ads, that there's one called Tabula.
Mhm.
I will also write it down. Tabula helps you to do ads. That's not content, it's only like ads. They are called native ads. So when people are reading an article, for example, or something around your topic, your ad will pop there in the news article or whatever as a native ad. So Taboola is also good. But I would stick to those, especially if you don't have like a content creator within your team.
So going back
Thank
to
you.
Pinterest, so yeah, that's great. So Pinterest, I'm thinking for definitely Mirabelle and her products, which are amazing. Someone like, I'm looking around the room. I don't know some people here, but like Komal, I don't know if you're there. So she's an artist.
Yep.
So she has amazing paintings. So that would also probably be like Pinterest would probably also be benefit. If I'm not sure if she's on Pinterest, that'd be beneficial for her as well. Then something visual.
Yeah, Pinterest. Pinterest is really, really good. If you want to build like videos or create community, Twitch is also growing in every topic, not only online gaming. So if you want to build communities, but also go live, which is something that not a lot of people like, Twitch. You can also find influencers that are big on Twitch that do the content for you. So there's a lot of niche within Twitch. I would encourage you to take a look at that too. But yeah.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, for sure.
So questions, other questions? We have a few minutes left. I'm just wondering, looking around. Steph, do you have any questions? I'm not sure if Steph is there or anyone else. Alejandra? I'm picking up people who haven't said they asked a question yet.
No, I was just Googling like, oh, what is tabula? I don't know. I've been
Oh.
I've been taking notes. And
It's a
so
lot.
yeah. Yeah, it's so much. But yeah, I've heard in the past when I used to be a makeup artist, Pinterest and Instagram was enough for me and referrals. But I guess it depends on the nature of the business. But it's true. And I was not aware that a lot of things have changed 5 years ago to now, like the hashtags. I remember I learned like 5 years ago or more that there was certain times of the day and certain days that were better to post And now you were saying it doesn't matter. Like, so long as you add content that is valuable to your target customers, I guess, or target consumers. So I'm like trying to absorb as much information as possible because everything has changed so much. So yeah, this has been very interesting. Um do you see that Google Ads is actually worth it? Worth investing in that? Because some people have asked me about it, and honestly, I'm not an expert in that. Do you think it's worth investing in that, Andrea?
I
In
would
Google Ads?
say it depends again. It depends on the business. I would always recommend to my clients to do as well as you do multi-platform content. I would encourage you to do multi-platform on your advertising. The fastest way to get response from your clients is Meta, which means Facebook and Instagram. That's the fastest way. So if you want something, not for people to buy fast, but just have a fastest response to your ad. If you want people to ask you or book a session or whatever, the fastest way is Instagram and Facebook. But with fast also comes a lot of not great leads, right? We can talk again, paid per click for hours, but you need to have a mix. That's why you need to have a mix, because a lot of people will ask you about your business and then won't be able to pay for it, or they're looking for something else and they're still gonna click on your yet post, right? So Facebook, Instagram, the fastest way to get a response or an interaction out of a client. Now, Google, it requires a little more time. And the thing is, within an ad on Facebook, Instagram, you can ask people to interact and stay within that platform, whereas on Google, you need to take them somewhere. So ask yourself if your website is bulletproof to receive all of those clicks. If it's really, really clear what people need to do within your website. Is it a purchase? Is it a book? Is it a fill this form and I will contact you thing? But it needs to be super clear. Otherwise, it's not like Facebook. In Facebook, you have people commenting and doing things, even if you don't tell them to do anything. On Google, they will click to something and you will be paying for people to visit your website and then staying there or bouncing back, and Google will be forever thankful for your money. So if you have a really good website or somewhere that you can capture that attention and people are conscious on what they need to do, I would encourage you to do Google. Now, Google has several ways that you can advertise on Google. One of them is Google search, where if you Google something, you will always see a sponsored one. That's one. They also have a program called Google Max Performance. Again, an agent from Google can help you, or if you want my services, thank you very much. I can also help you, but there's Google Max Performance that takes your ad and use it in every Google platform. So they have Google Display, they have Google, like YouTube is part of Google, Google Search, Google Keywords, whatever, and they kind of make it in an automatic way. You just upload like the ad and they say based on like target behavior and whatever where the ad is placed. They also have advertising for certain keywords. So when people look for something, or your content will appear there. And they have Google Display, which is within the Google pages. You can have your banner there. So there's several ways that you can advertise on Google. Back to your question, do I advise people to pay or do Google advertising? Yes, once their website is done and they are ready to receive like a lot of leads or whatever. So yes, and there's different ways to do it, and you don't need to invest a lot of money. I have clients that invest $100 less a month on Google and they still have good results. So it's a pretty like forgiving platform to invest.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, because my client, he was like, "Oh, I hate Instagram. I hate social media. I don't care about it. Just I want something objective. How about Google Ads?" I was like, "I honestly don't know much about it." Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I would encourage him to do it if his website is is ready.
Well, he
And
doesn't hate it. Like, he is in social media, but he hates, like, he's like, I don't see myself posting anything in any of that stuff. Like, he sends me memes and all that, but he's like, forget it about my business. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So, and then he has no patience for his business to respond in Meta and all that. So he was like, how about we, money's not an issue. It's something, I just want something more efficient. So that's why it sounded like that would be better for him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I
So
would
good to
need
know.
to take a look, and I
He-
would be happy to,
Yeah.
but I would encourage, if he doesn't want to invest on Meta platforms, Google is a good option too. But I would
Okay.
encourage him to
He
book a
should
platform.
reach out to Andrea and invest with her.
He can reach out to me.
Hire her.
I will
Okay.
leave my phone.
So guys, so Andrea's, so she put her contact info in, the phone number too. Contact info in the chat box here. And so if any of you have any questions or want to reach out to her, as you can tell, like, that's why I brought her in. I mean, she's in Momentum and we're lucky to have her there, but she's here with all of you now. And we have a couple minutes here. Are there any last questions, final question, burning questions?
I have a question, another one.
Please, yeah.
So in terms of ads, on Facebook and Instagram, sometimes there's a lot of trolls, but sometimes there's also people with not so pleasant comments, but also like trolls I would delete, for example, because you don't want those. But the people who just have a negative opinion about everything, so they have to express it. Do you recommend engaging in a conversation, like responding to them on your ad, which, the purpose for people to learn about your business and know about your products? What do you recommend?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite questions because I have to deal with trolls a lot with my clients. I would never encourage you to engage with negative comments. The only situation I would encourage for you to do that is if your brand strategy, if your brand tone, if your brand essence is a little bit more like rebellious and indifferent. So for example, I was the brand manager for a whiskey brand that was called Blockhead, and it was a peanut caramel popcorn flavored whiskey in the US. And the personality of that brand was like sassy, like
Oh,
it was a flavored whiskey, and we were made for like 21-year-olds that were like wanted to do shots. So if they would say like Blockhead tastes like whatever, like poo, I would instantly send them a meme on the comments, right? And it would be like an adult doing like whatever. But I would encourage you to do that if you want to show like your brand personality, because it's a little bit more playful and different, whatever. I would say 100% yes, it works a lot because you show like your character, and you'll get more fans than trolls in that situation. If your brand essence and personality is not that, and you want to respond being like, I know you don't like my product, but my product is actually really good, I would encourage you to just delete them because it will not do anything for you, anything for you. But I will tell you these. Thank you, Kim. If you see a lot of negative comments on the same topic, let's say, I've always worked in alcohol, I'm sorry, but let's say a tequila brand, right? And they say, this tequila, the label is horrible. The label is horrible. What did you do with the label? Or the cap is, like it's not working, or it opens weirdly. And a lot of people are commenting that. I would encourage you to take a look into that space, or make a content about it, or take that as an opportunity to explain more about your business. So if people say, I don't get the way you explain budgets, or I don't trust your financial advising, or whatever, you can also use that as a content idea. So if people are not believing you, it happens to me because I look young, and people are telling me like, what are you going to teach me? Like, you look young. So that's why I always start my conversation with, I'm 28. And then people automatically say, this young lady is not going to teach me anything. And then I hope people get to learn a little bit about like me and what I do and what I know. So it's an opportunity for you to talk about your business. So people are not getting, for example, a shape of your furniture, right? And you wanted to do a bird and it doesn't look like a bird because it's more abstract. I'm telling you something maybe
Yeah.
stupid an example, but you can talk about it in another post, you know, and be like, the inspiration behind this piece is whatever in nature. So it depends, but I would encourage you to delete. Sorry, I take forever in my answers, but that's my final answer.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great answer. Yeah, just delete. Just delete. Nothing usually comes good from engaging with them. Okay. Wow. I wasn't sure we were going to fill a full 90 minutes, but we did 93. So Andrea,
Sorry.
I think on behalf of everyone, thank you. I've got a whole pages of notes, and guys, reach out to her, ask questions. Thank you on behalf of everyone. I mean, everyone just say thank you, and it's awesome.
No,
So
of
much.
course. No, thank you for having me. And I'm usually really good with responding, maybe more on like WhatsApp or Facebook or whatever. You can find me on any of the Facebook groups. So I'm more than happy to help you. Like, I'm passionate about it. I want to see all of you growing. So just message me if you have specific questions. If you want to talk about like how I can support you better as a marketing agency, I'll be happy to do that too. But just know that you can reach out to me anytime.
Yeah.
I'll be
Okay.
happy to answer.
Guys, thank you for taking a
so
Wednesday evening and spending it with us. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thanks so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you. Bye-bye.